Hi everyone, my name is Mariah Rossell and I am a psychedelic integration counselor. So what is psychedelic integration counseling? So as you know, psychedelics are illegal in the US. However, there's still something that many people choose to use. And so psychedelic integration counseling is harm reduction and optimization. So there's two major components of psychedelic integration counseling. So one, I will help clients before their psychedelic experience to focus on what it is that they can do to reduce the harm in the experience that they're about to have. Sometimes people take psychedelics without any plan. However, a lot of people plan to take psychedelics and want help knowing how to use them optimally and how to reduce the harm, because there is, as with everything, there is harm. And so we look at the mindset. Is the person in a good mind state to take these substances? And if so, how are they going to use them? So we'll also look at intention setting. What is the actual setting that they're going to take them in? Is this a safe setting? Are they having people around to watch them and monitor in case anything goes wrong? Are they making sure that they are in a safe space? Are they making sure that they're not choosing to be doing harmful activities that might be even more harmful when in a psychedelic state? And what are they going to do if they do get into a place where things are really dark or really difficult? And what are they going to do if things don't go as expected? And what things do they need to be concerned with as far as physiological impacts and keeping themselves safe on those levels? And then the primary work that I do is in the actual integration of the experience. So as a psychedelic integration counselor, I do not see people on psychedelics. As a counselor, I do not see people under any substance unless they are doctor prescribed. So obviously people can come to counseling under their prescribed meds, but even if somebody's drunk or high with marijuana or something like that, I legally can't see them because they can't consent to therapy and to the work that's being done when they are in an altered state. However, once their altered state is over, I can see them legally as a professional. And so now that they've had this experience, there's two major ways the experience can go. The experience can either go relatively positively or amazingly positively, right? It can go in that direction, or it can kind of be a difficult experience. Often the difficult experiences are called bad trips. And so if somebody has a bad trip, the first step of the psychedelic integration counseling is basic trauma therapy or crisis intervention. How do we actually address the difficult experience that they had and help them get to a point where they're not having nightmares about it, they're not ruminating about it, and they're back to a level ground zero. And then on both accounts, the next step is going to be actually integrating it. So one of the things that often happens when people have psychedelic experiences is they have majorly profound experiences. And maybe they feel like they've solved the world's problems, or they've gotten a lesson to have a career change, or major life shifts. But the biggest thing is that a lot of people don't actually integrate it, and so all of that beautiful work that they did during the psychedelic journey is not something that they have been able to take forward. And so my role as a psychedelic integration counselor is to help dissect what happened. And I do it in a non-judgmental state. My goal as a counselor is not to tell you to or not to do substances, but to treat you as a human being with dignity and respect, and you've had an experience. And so how do we address that experience that you had, that you chose to have? Often you chose to have. Sometimes people do get dosed or do have non-consensual psychedelic experiences, and if that's the case, then we'll deal with it in that state. And now how can we look at your experience and make sense? Maybe you've had visions that you don't understand, or thoughts that you don't understand. So how do we look at the experience holistically and then create a plan to understand not only what went on, but how do you use this to change your life? How do you use this to inform your life's purpose? How do you use this to make life better and to actually have a holistic experience. Because one of the things when people have state experiences, and so when we talk about a state experience, it could be psychedelics, it could be a meditation retreat, it could be a transformational retreat. It's anything where you go into a different level of consciousness. And when you have a state experience, you see a new level of consciousness that is often very alluring. And if your state experience is not fully integrated, then you can go through this process that we call chasing the dragon, meaning you're chasing that high. You really like that experience, you want to get back there. And in psychedelic integration counseling, our goal is to say, okay, you really like that, how can you get back there? But how can you get back there without necessarily needing more psychedelics, without necessarily needing another retreat, without necessarily needing bigger and better and more and more and more? But how can you get to that state in your everyday life and maintain that? And so it's about how do you take the psychedelic experience and use it to have a glimpse of what you would like in life, and then through the counseling process we can help you get to that state on an ongoing process, or ongoing basis rather, so that way you can do it once and have an actual huge up-leveling, a huge step in your life. So if this is something that you would be interested in, I would love to work with you. My website is mariahrossel.com, MariahRossel.com. And as I said before, I am an integration counselor, so I will work with people before and after psychedelic experiences for harm reduction and integration. But I do not provide illegal substances. I do not do therapy during points when you are under the influence of substances. So please do not ask that, because I do need to stay within the realms and the levels of the law. So thank you everybody, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.